Justin Steele to the IL. What does it mean for the Cubs rotation and more?
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making us your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen to or watch us every day. A little bit of prospects updates later in the show. We'll recap the series finale of Cubs Rangers, and we start with the news of the day as the Cubs placed Justin Steele on the 15-day injured list on Wednesday with left elbow tendinitis. Steele said Wednesday it's the same feeling from last August when he missed time on the IL for the same injury, and is hopeful that an MRI on Thursday confirms just that. Steele missed about 3 weeks last year for it. In 2023, he missed 3 weeks due to a forearm strain. Remember, also last year, he missed about 5 for a hamstring strain. Otherwise, has avoided major injury in his big league career, despite these bumps in the road. So hopefully that is the case here as well. And both his quotes and Craig Counsell seem to indicate that too. I also have some evidence to suggest, though, maybe the Cubs did know about this for a little bit. Sam, first thoughts on the Steele news.
First of all, good to see you on this gloomy, maybe I would go as far as to say depressing Wednesday afternoon.
Dark day.
I'm just sipping on some ginger ale because this team, just the ups and downs. It's just, it's gonna be a theme all year for me. You said it beautifully. Whenever I hear the term elbow and pitcher, I get concerned, but we've had this conversation. This is the third time that he's had an elbow/forearm IL stint, not including the hamstring, just the elbow/forearm IL stint. I'm very interested to hear your theory because I haven't heard that yet. But yeah, I don't, it doesn't sound like it'll be, a long stint. And with the off days that they have built in, they have a lot of off days coming up. Hopefully they could, limit, the impact of it a little bit and, make it not as big of a deal. But as we talked about on yesterday's show, they basically have the toughest stretch maybe in the history of baseball coming up. I mean, it's not even I'm not even exaggerating. It's at least the toughest stretch any team will face in 2025, right? Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Phillies, and you'd like to have your stud first or second best pitcher for that stretch. So of course, it's frustrating, but look, as I'm going to say in the second segment, this is one of those days where you wake up and you're reminded why baseball's hard, why 162 game seasons are hard, why you do celebrate at the end when you win a division before you even get to the postseason.
Absolutely. Huge accomplishment.
Because it's really challenging and teams get hurt. You miss stud guys. And I'm interested. I want to pass it back to you because the comment I was going to make, but I won't now, is that I thought it was a bit odd that they admitted that in the fifth inning he had some tightness there, and then they allowed him to continue. But if they already knew that something was up, maybe that makes sense. So I pass it over to you. Let's see if you can knock down a corner three and tie this game up.
So Steele's velo numbers have been down to all the starts.
Yep,
including Tuesday. But I wonder, Sam, about the infamous Colin Ray. Is this why this dude wasn't pitching? His usage and availability was pretty much mute.
We need to get a conspiracy.
Knew their ace pitcher was down.
No, before you do this stuff, we have to have a theme like Bill Simmons at the Ringer. We got to get like a conspiracy hat on.
The hat. I got to get a prop or something.
You got to get a prop when you go to conspiracy mode. Go ahead.
I think they were playing it conservative to begin with. And especially for the Steele starts, they wanted Ray on full rest just in case, or like what happened Tuesday where he just finished the ball game. But now he's likely going to take that spot. So I feel like now in hindsight, he was only available on the day Steele pitched.
Interesting. That's interesting. I'm not sure I agree with it, but I'm interested. Yeah. Because it is interesting that he has thrown only the 2 days Steele's pitch. But if something was if they knew something was up with Steele, would they let him go 13 2/3 innings in back-to-back outings?
Right.
91 pitches? I don't know. I don't know. But ultimately, I wish I guess you have to get an MRI with these sort of things. But I once that comes back clean, I will be great. I always just get a little concerned when you see those 3 letters and you have a pitcher with an elbow problem. But, like Counsell said, I mean, I listened to his presser before we got on this program. It's a similar injury. So
yes.
So
well,
hopefully,
I was wondering how I'd react to the first injury news of the year.
yeah.
And I guess I would say, given what we know, I feel like I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah.
But a pitching injury to a pitcher, an arm injury to a pitcher is serious.
Yeah.
Which is why I wasn't that bothered, albeit a long absence, about the hamstring last March.
Right.
March of 24. But this is different for sure.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I wouldn't expect anything tomorrow. We learned that from the forearm strain Steele had in June of 23. Because they have an off day tomorrow, we won't find out about this likely until Friday. Just want to let everybody know.
Yeah, if
we do, great, but I don't think we will.
I'm going to assume he's going to be back in 2 to 3 weeks until I hear otherwise.
Wow, that would just be absolutely fantastic.
I'll say this.
I'm hoping for 4 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, that in my book, that would be a positive development.
That's too long.
I want him to be healthy.
Yeah, if he misses a month, that'd be... So, we need to continue to remind ourselves about Kyle Tucker and how things look different this year because they are literally off to the same start as last year. They're playing well. And now we have officially entered. By the way, shout out to your father who predicted a 9-5 start, by the way.
Wow.
I forgot to shout him out I had it literally written on my notes and just didn't do it. So shout it out. He said they're going to go 9-5 first 14. I'm almost positive he said that.
That's crazy.
And he got the start right last year too in April.
Wow.
But doesn't it feel like we're going to be in stay afloat mode now for like a good 2-3 weeks? Every game we win, just keep staying afloat.
Yes.
The key is going to be after they do stay afloat, and they will, making sure they're playing good baseball in May and June when they do play the Marlins, when they do play the White Sox, when they do play the Marlins again. But I will say, to tap us on the back and a lot of other people that saw this coming, very rarely through 15 games does everything kind of line up exactly how you thought it would in terms of strength and weaknesses. We really like this offense. This offense doing really well. Starting pitching had some concerns about depth quality. You had a good quantity, but depth quality. What happens if something happens to Steele or Imanaga? Because you don't really have anybody at that level. Okay, now one of those is out. So now Matthew Boyd becomes, I already thought he was the key to the rotation. Now he becomes a feature guy over the next 2-3 weeks. He needs to stay healthy. And then, of course, concerns about the bullpen, and it's been weak. So kind of everything that we all went in is kind of showing its face here for better and for worse.
Yeah, and Ray and Jordan Wicks, I would say, are the main candidates for this spot. Although maybe the Cubs are being, sneaky here and kind of doing the IL trip strategically with Steele and really being ultra conservative because Sahada from The Athletic did some math. He thinks they only might need one start filled, which would be crazy.
Yeah, because the off days.
Crazy
right?
good.
Because the off days.
Yeah, Cade Horton not ready yet. Wicks is scheduled to pitch Thursday at AAA, so he could pitch soon, in theory, on extra rest. But really, it's Ray, Wicks. Javier Assad pitched 2 innings last weekend in a sim game at Sloan. He'd be ready late this month or early May. Chris Flexen is a very outside candidate, Sam. He accepted a minor league assignment. I don't know how many fans actually know that. He's allowed only 1 run in 10 innings at AAA. But for me, in terms of any kind of domino effect, it's just Ben Brown, who we've already speculated is going to move to the pen. Now he can't.
And also, I don't want Shota and Matthew Boyd and Ben Brown pitching on any sort of shorter rest, even if it's full rest. I still want another guy in there. I'd rather Colin Ray. Matthew Boyd has had his injury concerns. Ben Brown's had his injury concerns. Shota always seems a little bit different on regular rest versus an extra day. So I would like to see, even though the math's out, I still think you're going to see another guy come in Sunday night, whether it's
I'd like
Colin
to
Ray.
see it Monday night, to be honest with you.
So who do you want
I'd
to see
like to
pitch
see
Sunday?
Tyone on normal rest Sunday against the Dodgers.
Okay.
Ray Monday, and then a Minaga on extra rest Tuesday.
Cool. Okay.
That's what I'd like to see.
I'll say this. I wouldn't mind Jordan Wicks coming up. So
absolutely.
Too.
He could pitch Monday as well, for sure. Or Sunday, yeah. All right, coming up next, we're going to recap the series finale between the Cubs and Rangers. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by Just Ingredients. When it comes to fueling your body, quality matters. That's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers an NSF-certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine, all rigorously tested to ensure they're free from substances banned by major athletic organizations. Just Ingredients also just partnered with two-time MVP Bryce Harper, who trusts their NSF-certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery. This huge bag of chocolate protein powder that Just Ingredients just sent me has been huge for my workout routine, and it tastes amazing. Just Ingredients is so good, so many good flavors, and I love that they prioritize wholesome, nourishing ingredients without the artificial junk. Visit justingredients.us and use code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off. That's justingredients.us and use code LOCKEDONMLB. Cubs lost to the Rangers 6-2 on Wednesday in cold and dark conditions for an afternoon getaway day at Wrigley Field. Off day Thursday, followed by a 6-game West Coast trip. Shota Imanaga, 7 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and 5 innings. Pearson Morgan and Ethan Roberts, who replaced Steele on the roster on Wednesday, pitched out of the pen. Cubs recorded only a couple hits offensively. All right, Sam. Not only thoughts on the finale, but really the series now as it comes to a conclusion.
This one, you'll never hear me complain about these ones as long as they don't start stacking together. This is one of 162. This is when the Cubs blow games late and people comment, go, hey, it's just 1 of 162. That to me is incorrect because you only have a certain amount of opportunity to win games. This is an example of 1 of 162. Your ace pitcher went out there. He didn't throw the ball well today. Gave up some home runs. Offensively, you were silenced. You were due. You have those days. You're going to lose those games. These are the games where I always look to, okay, how many games have we lost that we should have won? How many games have we won that we should have lost? Because today, you're going to see this very game 10, 15, 20 more times this year. It's part of the season, especially when you play a good team and a team like Texas, who, albeit they're off to a good start, had a bunch of hitters that were due. I mean, Corey Seager's one of the best of the best, and he was due to get going. He got going, so I don't get too concerned. Imanaga's velocity is down as well. He was 89, 90 for most of the day again today. But nothing too concerning. I mean, if I really want to be picky, Matthew, I'll say, look, you feel like you left a little meat on the bone with this homestand. It just felt like you played a little bit better baseball than 4-2. Oh. And again, the only thing, like, so far, if I'm doing a report card on this team, it's filled with A's besides the bullpen. The only thing that frustrates me is that I think we've played really, really good baseball, and I think Milwaukee hasn't. And if they win today, they're within a half game.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, you look around the league, Devin Williams, they traded him. He got rocked again today. His ERA's in the mid-12s.
Really?
Willie Adames is batting 150. Like, these guys just, they're so annoying.
They're well researched, well planned,
but
inject well.
But overall, not too frustrated. Not a whole lot of positives from Wednesday's affair, although Seiya is just crushing the baseball to right center field.
He went 7 for 11 this series.
Yeah. But all good. 4-2, business taken care of. I think the Cubs are a better team than Texas. which might break some news.
You know what? That's a big observation from you, I will say.
Yeah, look, Simeon's real good. Seager's real good. They're going to need Jock Peterson. They need if DeGrom.
Yeah, he was non-existent this week.
If DeGrom and Jock perform, maybe not. But I don't know. I think the Cubs stack up with some of these teams, and it was a nice homestand, and they just weren't able to finish off that Diamondbacks 3 out of 4. They weren't able to finish off that Padres sweep, and they weren't able to finish off the Texas sweep. But guess what? The other guys get paid money too.
Yeah, and thinking about that lineup a little bit here, who looked good this week from them was Wyatt Langford, and now he's on the IL.
Right.
And Merrill went on the IL, and Tatis might go on the IL. Yeah. By the way, Sam, we could do an NL Central roundup for Friday.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful the Brewers get some adds to their loss column this weekend with the D-backs. Mm-hmm. And then they play the Detroit Tigers, who are off to a nice start. They look legit again.
Yeah, I mean, Milwaukee hadn't played ananybody yet, really.
Not really.
Outside of the Yankees, who they didn't beat.
New York Yankees, yeah.
Yeah, they got swept.
Right. So yeah. And what we talked about in person Saturday came to fruition. I mean, I guess it has since his whole career on the north side, but Seiya literally went from 0 for 9 in one series to 7 for 11.
Just enjoy the ride.
The dude is a enigma of all circumstances.
Absolutely. I mean, today he looks like
7 for 11.
Well, today he looked like the righty Ted Williams. I mean, he was hitting the ball to right center. I mean, even his outs, he had a ball like 107 off the bat, out.
107?
Yeah, what? No, you
can't even find that on the radio dial of most new cars.
So yeah, he had a really good series. The one thing I've noticed early in the year that is that's interesting is, how you always say, and I've said this on the show, how you say like, hey, so-and-so is having good swings, just no results yet. It seems like that sometimes leads to slumps, because like I thought Ian was having real good swings, and now you look at Ian Happ's line, he does not look like a guy that's hit 203, 297, 281. But that's the reality of the situation. PCA did not have a good homestand outside of having 3 hits. He's hitting 211. So I guess the good news is the Cubs offense has been great. Seiya's been great. Kyle Tucker's been an MVP caliber guy. They've gotten a lot out of the catcher situation. Nico's been good. Dansby's been pretty good, at least slug-wise. But even Dansby after an 0 for today, 211. So it's like my point is there's nothing unsustainable really that's happening.
Right, because they've made more outs than we even realize already.
Right, and Matt Shaw hasn't hit many baseballs hard, so I'd like to see Matt Shaw hit a couple. I'd like to see Matt Shaw hit a home run in LA just for my.
Well, we're not going to see Workman in LA, so.
Right.
Sorry,
well, no, I think
shot at him. Sorry.
Well, that could be a conversation for Friday too.
We'll see.
I almost think John Birdie is taking over the backup third baseman role as well.
Yeah, well, he finished the ball game there in Tuesday's W. So.
Yeah. So what do you think about like 9-6, or if the Dodgers
feels great to me?
Good. Okay.
Feels amazing actually.
Okay.
And if they somehow come back to Wrigley next Friday, 12-9, I'll do laps around my neighborhood. If they go 3-3 this weekend and next week.
Yeah.
I will record myself doing laps around my neighborhood.
Will you running?
If they come back 11-10, it's understandable.
No, it's going to come down to them taking care of business against bad teams and
we know about the first 41 games. We were the first to talk about it, were we not?
And taking care of business against the division.
That's right.
The division. 22-29 last year. 23-29. One of those two.
And their first division game is later this month against Pittsburgh.
Yep, they close the month against Pittsburgh. They bleed into May, and then early May they go up up north to Milwaukee. I want to win those series, make an early statement of the division.
Please. And the first 41, 26 to go. It's just such a different feeling than last year. It really is. And there's multitude of reasons, but the main 3 are defense, base running, and Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, and I think probably The last one's number
Maybe
one.
not in that order.
Little concerned about his eyes at Wrigley Field. He kept picking at his eye today.
Saw that since we were there Saturday. Was
Yeah.
the whole homestand.
I don't wear contacts. Is that like a dry eye
I
thing?
I have them in currently.
Is that like a dry eye
Yeah,
situation?
maybe he's just making sure, it's fully on the eye.
Well, because I'm trying to, I have a pitch ready for Kyle Tucker to return to the Cubs if he gets the right offer. And so I just want to make sure I get that, because we could fly in an ophthalmologist and just have him right by his side the whole season.
Well, we have a good eye doctors here in the Western Burbs. They can travel to.
No, but I mean, I'll finance it.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, I'll need some help. But he could, eye drops. Hey, right before they beat, clap, eye drop. Kyle Tucker, let's get him a quick eye drop. We're good.
And it's allergy season too.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it was.
Because of the winter conditions.
Well, because he wasn't sneezing or anything. He just every time kept going to his.
What? So you didn't see evidence of sneezing. So what?
Well, I just don't think he was stuck. I don't think it was allergies. I think he had something in his eye. I think it was like a dry eye.
And I have some breaking news for you.
I don't want him going back to his family today and go, I'm not coming back here. My eyes are dry. Remember Chris Bryant? Remember he wore those goggles for a second at Wrigley?
Coming up next, we do our first update of just a stacked roster at AAA Iowa with iCubs. We detail out some players next.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are almost here. I can't believe it. And FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bet if your bet wins. I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props. I'm going to do this when we're talking about FanDuel. I'm going to give an update on the Cubs division odds because I've never tracked it basically week by week before. After Wednesday's loss, we're at about 5:30 Central Time. The Cubs are minus 130 to win the NL Central. That's some of the better odds that you'll see all across baseball if you take away the Los Angeles Dodgers. So don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today.
All right, first prospects update here on the show as we're a couple weeks into the minor league season, but there's a little more frequency of off days down there. I just have two notes to begin because this really is a loaded group in Des Moines. Owen Casey, Sam, has an ankle injury. Before that, he was slashing 269, 367, 538 in 7 games. And as we are recording right now, about 5:30 p.m. Central, Cade Horton is scheduled to make the start tonight for the iCubs. He went 3 1/3 scoreless in his first outing last week. Any thoughts on the first two names there? You texted me last week about Horton.
Yeah, my thoughts are, first of all, some breaking news. The Cincinnati Reds just blew a 6-0 lead.
And I have some breaking news for you.
And the Giants just walked them off 8-6. Just wanted to give that update.
Good news.
Well, it's just nice to see other teams lose heartbreakers too.
Right. By the way, I've done more opponent watching than I thought I would this early. You want to know why? It's fun.
It's fun, and you won't be doing it. I want to have fun.
And not that I'm taking it that seriously this early, but it's part of the experience that I want to savor more.
Well, I'll be watching Milwaukee tonight, but you won't have time to do that in just about a month and a half. Anyway.
Right. I have more time now. That's true. And thanks for your MLB TV account, by the way.
Yeah, well, sure.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that on the
Probably should have said that publicly, but hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Life's about experiences.
Well,
Cade Horton is such an X factor for this ball club because
he was one of my bold predictions.
Starting pitching depth, have quantity, not sure how much quality there is. Bullpen depth, not anything of either, right? So he could provide a big lift. Owen Casey starting to get a little bit concerned with the injuries now. This is the second one.
Yeah. He's had absences.
But he's a stud. The interesting part of the position player stuff for me is just like, how do you Ballesteros, Casey, Alcantara, they will be up immediately if one of our outfielders or DH gets hurt. But if they're not going to be. This group this group is what it is. I mean,
position player group shouldn't change.
I'm trying to think if something, again, and I hate doing this because I don't want anyone to get injured. I'm trying to think, let's talk through like Nico has a 15-day. Okay. Let's just go through
All
that.
right.
So then,
I don't like this, but yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And I hope people understand. Like
Right. It's an thought exercise.
Okay. Let's do it like this. Let's be more general. An infielder an infielder goes to the IL. Okay. Any of them. Let's just do that. Any infielder. Birdie would slide into second if it was second. Nico would go to short. Birdie would slide into second if it were the shortstop. First base, Justin Turner probably gets more reps. So that my point is there would be room. Maybe one of those outfielders comes in as well for some bats. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Brujan is on the IL. He could be potentially returning.
Right. I'm just saying that maybe you go like an infielder short to get those guys up. But then
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, I'm saying like if a guy like Casey or a guy like Ballesteros comes, they got to hit at some point.
Right.
You don't want a Canario situation.
Sam, really slow start.
Who?
5 for 27, 13 strikeouts.
Who is that? I'm sorry.
Alcantara. Not hitting well at all. Had a nice spring.
Ballesteros, you have his numbers in front of you?
Yeah, I do. 9 for 30. Pretty good.
Yeah, he can
300
hit.
Average.
Yeah.
Triantos, a little bit less, 9 for 33. But Triantos, man, what a contact guy.
He's Nico. He reminds me of Nico.
2 walks, 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, no, he reminds me of Nico.
So yeah, the options there, something to keep an eye on, and I'd like to see one of these dudes though at Iowa really to at times dominate. These numbers are okay, but it's so early,
right?
But who's still hitting really well from the spring? Ben Cowles.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd get it like a cup of coffee or something.
Right. Like a little.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then Roberts was lights out. He's up now. And Little Palencia and Neely have been lights out. So I wonder when we see some of these brothers down there.
I'm ready for Luke Little when you are.
I think so too.
I'm ready for Luke Little. You name it. What Eli Morgan, Pearson. I'm ready when you are.
Because they could for sure option them.
Ready when you are. So
I think so too. I do.
Hey, can I give you a little stat here?
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Coming into today, and you know what? No, I don't need to do coming into today. I know the numbers for today. So I'll add it. I'll do the math.
Cubs run total?
No.
86, I believe.
Kyle Tucker now on the season has walked 14 times and struck out 7.
Yeah, he was only one of a few players who walked more than he struck out last year. Can you name that list?
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, let me try to find it. I know one of the names for sure.
Well, Soto. Was he on there?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Actually, I know one more name then, but I believe there's 4 total.
Luis Arise?
Nope. Good guess, though.
Really? Stephen Kwan?
Yep. And then we will have the 4th one for you in Friday's episode.
Okay. Are you positive it was Soto? I can look it up real quick.
Yeah, positive of those 3.
Okay.
So Kwan.
What a great hitter, Soto.
And the 4th one, I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, Soto had 10 more walks than Case. Man.
Yeah.
So. Well, I'd like to. Well, give me a minute. Let me just see if I could get there. Maybe it would.
Might have been. Was it Matt Chapman? No.
I hope not.
Okay. Why? Because the Cubs could have had him.
Well, Jose Ramirez, maybe.
Yeah, I guessed him. It was wrong.
Got it.
Yep. Good guesses, though. Good guesses.
Yeah, like Freddie Freeman. All right, for Friday.
Oh, I think it might have been Mookie Betts.
Was it really?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, man. Oh, those are pretty good hitters there.
Yeah, it is. All right, we'll be back on Friday. Cubs-Dodgers preview and more. Thank you so much for checking out this episode. We're here 5 episodes per week, Monday through Friday, talking about all things Cubs. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on the Locked On MLB channel on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, we'll see you on Friday. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
See ya.